Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel for another unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the art figures Baba Voss, also known as Jason Momoa from the TV show C. The dystopian tale of a world in the not too distant future where a virus has rendered the population blind and pretty much everybody reverts to rather violent tribalistic culture. And Baba Voss, Jason Momoa, is the leader of a tribe who finds two-sighted children born into his tribe, which he adopts. But I don't want to spoil the plot for you. I do recommend seeking it out. If you haven't seen it, it is absolutely excellent. It's got a great script, a great story, great performances, some really slick action, and it is just very, very good. It ran for 3 seasons. It started in, I think it was November 2019, ran for 3 seasons, finished in October of last year. The 3rd season admittedly did drop off a little bit, but on the whole, it really, really is very, very good and worth seeking out if you haven't already seen it. But that's enough of me gushing about the TV show. This is only the second art figures figure in my collection. The only other one I've got is the Dredd from the Carl Urban take on Judge Dredd. So I've got pretty high hopes for this. As always, what we'll be doing is we'll be taking a quick look at the box. Then we'll be diving down onto the table, having a look at all the accessories that come with your Baba Voss figure. Then it'll be on to the main event. We'll get him out, get him onto the stand, get him onto the turntable, see how this guy looks. As always, it'll be over to the Detolf, see how the guy displays under the Detolf lights. And then maybe do a little showcase and wrap this whole thing up. But yeah, let's start with the box as always. And yeah, very nice it is too. It's a relatively small box, relatively simple, magnetic clasp. On the front here is this rather nice image of the figure itself. The back of the box is just matte black, but the figure itself, the image of the figure is actually this high gloss finish, which looks really, really effective when it catches the light. At the back there, you've got this. When I first saw the TV show, I thought it was the sun. It's not. It's an eye. It's the lens, the iris there at the back. It says Baba Voss in the corner, 1/6 scale collectible figure, and down the bottom corner here it says art figures. So relatively simple, very bold. Loving the sort of monochrome effect here, and just it just works. It just looks good. So we'll spin it round and we'll take a look at the side. Once again, another image of the figure here. That same eye. Picture behind him. It says Baba Voss, 1/6 scale collectible figure, all black again. We bring it round to the back. Very simple art figures, Baba Voss. The usual warnings here. Don't piss this figure off or it'll seek you out in the dark and slice you up into small pieces. We'll bring it round again. It just says Baba Voss on this side. This is actually a magnetically clasped box. What we'll do is we'll just open this up. Now, this figure has literally just arrived at the doorstep and gone straight under the camera. So it's still in the box, and it'll be the first time I've actually had this figure out. But when you open, I'm going to have to be careful here that none of the bits and pieces fall out. But when you open the box up, because he's still behind the foam inlay there, what you've got is this rather nice image of the figure again with this sort of black swirly yellow pattern behind him. Very bold, very effective, and once again it says Baba Voss there on the latching part of the magnetic clasp. So yeah, there's the box. As I say, simple, bold, and very, very effective. So without further ado, let's get all the accessories down, dive down onto the table, and have a look at all the stuff that comes with your Baba Voss figure. Okay, so here we are, down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Baba Voss figure. So what do you get? Quite a bit here, actually. Pleasantly surprised. As always, we'll start with the hands. You know me and my hand fetish. There are 2 hands already on the figure, 2 bound hands. So you've got 3 pairs in total, a total of 6 hands. So a good variety of hands. So let's have a look at the sculpt. See how good this sculpt is, and it looks pretty good to me on first inspection. The skin texturing's there, multiple paint applications. There are some mild seam lines, but on the whole, they are pretty good. There are 2 fisted hands which aren't wrapped. The rest of the hands are wrapped, including the ones on the figure, but we'll come to that shortly. But yeah, there's a bit of reddening on the knuckles. There's visible bone work and veining in the back of the hands. A couple of imperfections in there, but on the whole, pretty good. We've got fingernails as well, which is always a good sign. Relatively hard plastic, these, not the most flexible, but maybe that's because it's a fisted hand. So we'll put the fisted hands to one side, and the other one is pretty much identical. So yeah, 2 fisted hands there. Then you get the rest of the hands, as I say, are wrapped. Now, this isn't sculpted plastic. It feels like pleather to me, and it feels like it's just been wrapped around the hands themselves. Yeah, there's a definite pleather feel to that. But yeah, that same quality of sculpt is continued. This is more of a sort of holding hand. I'll bring it further into the camera so you can see, get it in a bit closer. Yeah, these wraps are nice, could perhaps do with a little bit of weathering. I think that's going to be the case for all of this figure. We're going to be looking at some weathering there, but yeah, the wraps are nice, they're the right colour, and pretty much screen accurate. So there's all these are gripping hands. Let's take a look at another one. This is, well, he says this one's slightly open, more open palm, but you've got an open palm one, 2 open palm, relatively open palm anyway. Yeah, nice sculpting on the fingers there. The wraps are pretty good, and screen accurate. So yeah, that's your hands. Let's put those to one side. What else do you get with your figure? Let's take a look at this gauntlet. This is rather nice. This is the gauntlet that he wears on his, I believe it's his left arm, could be his right. I'll have to revisit the program to double check that. All one piece of sculpted plastic. And I am assuming you just take the hand off, slide this on, and away you go. Nice colouring there, some nice paintwork. You've got different shades there. The internal sections are slightly darker. There are rivets in here that are painted silver. Yeah, as I say, all sculpted, all one piece of plastic, and very nice it is too. These antlers that are attached and horns, there's some nice paintwork on there. There's some dry brushing, there's multiple paint applications, some nice shading into the crevices there to give it that sort of ivory effect. Yeah, just very, very nice. Nice paintwork, nice sculpting. So it'll be interesting to see what this, how this piece looks on the figure. So yeah, there's that. We'll put that to one side. Talking of antlers and ivory, you get these 2 pieces as well. Now, these are to go around his neck, as you've probably seen on the box itself. Viewers of the show will know this look that he actually wears these round his neck with the fur piece that we'll come to shortly. But yeah. The sculpting is very, very nice here again, as it is on the gauntlet. There's multiple paint applications there to give it that depth and to give it that sort of ivory look. They darken towards the ends here, which is screen accurate, and they're connected at the bottom there by this ring. Feels like plastic, and then you have this string attached for attaching it to the figure itself. Now I believe these just fall down, these pieces here, and this then attaches to the back of the neck. I'm not 100% certain how that works. I'm going to have to check that out. I suspect you just loop this on here. Yeah, it looks like the loops come off in transit, but I think it's a case of just looping that back round there and then twisting it a few times. I'll do that off camera. I'm assuming that's just come loose in transit, but yeah. So that's the bone stroke ivory necklace. We'll put that to one side. What else do you get? Let's take a look at, well, while we're on jewellery and necklaces, this is rather nice 6-scale necklace. Once again, screen accurate, made up of teeth. The teeth themselves, I believe, are plastic. Yes, they are, and they've got the same paint applications that you find on the gauntlet and on the large neck piece. It's nice to see this is actually it's a 1/6 scale necklace rather than the sculpted plastic or one piece of sculpted plastic. This is actually threaded through, and there are individual beads on this necklace. Nice to see that. Good work there from Art Toys. It gives it that depth and that slightly more realistic look than just one piece of sculpted plastic. So yeah, you have that necklace if you're wanting to use it. We'll put that to one side. Let's take a look at the weapons. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't come with the samurai sword, which he adopts later. I think that sort of arrives season 2, I believe, maybe even season 3. But what you do get are the weapons that he starts the show out with. So let's work our way up. Now, I was a little confused with this piece. Small piece of sculpted black plastic. I think this is the knife, or one of the knives that he uses. I'll have to revisit the series. It's very, very small, high gloss black. Yeah, and I believe that this is one of the knife weapons that he uses. But yeah, that's there as well if you're wanting it. So we'll put that to one side. If it isn't a knife, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comment section. Please do. The other weapons, you get 3 cleavers, one on a long pole, 2 just normal handles, and this knife. Now, these 3 are all sculpted plastic. I'll bring this into the camera. Let's see if I can't get some more light onto these. Yeah, all one piece of sculpted plastic. There's some nice paintwork on the handles there to give it that wooden look. There's some weathering, some dry brushing in there into the crevices. The blade itself is very well done. Not particularly sharp, which is good news, but the blade itself has been weathered really, really well. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up. See if I can't catch the light with that. I think we're losing focus there a little bit. But yeah, weathering, very good. Sculpt, very good indeed. Let's put that to one side. Let's start with the smaller of the 2 cleavers. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic. The paintwork on here is very, very good. The weathering on the handle there is very, very nice. The paint applications are nice, and it really has been weathered very, very well. There's what looks like rust on there. There's multiple paint applications on there to give it that texture and that depth, that used look, and as I say, almost rusted on the top side of that cleaver there. So very, very nice indeed. So far, so good. Well done. Props to Art Figures. We've got the slightly larger of the 2 cleavers next. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic. Same quality of paint application there. Same paint applications on the handle. The quality of the paintwork here is very, very good. I'm liking it a lot. It really does give it that worn and used look. And it looks like there's some browns on the top of there as well, and in the crevices here, giving it that almost rusty look as well. So yeah, very, very nice. And finally, for weapons, we've got this long one. Now, this one is heavy. This is actually got a metal blade. The handle itself is all sculpted plastic with some relatively nice paint applications on there to give it that wood effect. But the whole head of this is metal, and it has got some heft to it. It really does. Same excellent paint applications on that blade of the cleaver there. The browns are in there. There's greys, there's browns, there's blacks. It's pitted, it's rough, it looks old, very weathered, and they've done excellent work on the paint job there. So yeah, hats off to Art Toys for that. This has got some heft to it. I'm not sure how how the figure will hold up carrying this, but we'll see when we get him out. So yeah, you've got that as well. What else do you get with your figure? Obligatory 2 spare wrist pegs, which is nice to see. And this, which was actually on the figure and fell off when I took it out. So I'm not sure whether this is classed as an accessory or not, but this is the fur neck piece, shall we say, that straddles his shoulders, and then is held in place by these two horns. So yeah, it's a fake fur. The colour looks screen accurate to me. It reminds me very much of the DJ Customs Revenant fur poncho, for want of a better expression. Pretty much the same quality of stitching on the inside there. Possibly could do with some weathering, but it's nice to the touch. The colour is screen accurate, and yeah, looks very, very good indeed. So we'll put that to one side. And finally, the stand. Now, this stand, I'm not sure whether they've taken a leaf out of Mars Toys book on this one. But this stand does put me in mind of Mars Toys stands. I mean, art figures, I don't believe the Dread came with a stand. I'm not 100% certain. No, I don't think it did. And whether art toys are actually part of Mars Toys or come under the same umbrella, maybe, I don't know. But maybe someone can tell me in the comment section below. But yeah, I do like this stand. It's that sort of hexagonal, semi-hexagonal shape that you get with Mars Toys. But this isn't a sticker on the top. This is actually a separate piece of plastic, and it's raised, and it's got a very, very nice feel to it. It's got this eye symbol, which was obviously the symbol of the TV show itself, and this vein work here, and you can see the edgings of the eyes. The paintwork is really, really nice on this. I'm very, very impressed. For a third-party unlicensed figure, they've really put some time and attention into this stand. It says Baba Voss on there on a metal plate. It's definitely metal because it's cold to the touch. Although they could have maybe engraved that name a little bit better, but at first glance I couldn't see it, and I thought they'd left it blank. But it's not until the light catches it that you actually see the name. But yeah, it's got feet on the bottom, so it's not going to slide around in your display. Very, very nice indeed. Don't often use third-party unlicensed figure stands, as viewers to my channel will know. Those bog standard ovals with the not the best quality stickers on them are not my favourite, but this really has had some time and thought put into it. Yeah, liking that a lot. This one doesn't come with a crotch grabber, it comes with a waist grabber, so we'll see how that works when we get the figure out. But so there you have it. That's all the accessories that come with your Baba Voss figure. So without further ado, let's get down to the main event. Let's bring the big guy out, get him onto the stand, get him onto the turntable, and see how this guy looks. Okay, so here he is, the main event himself, Baba Voss, aka Jason Momoa. Straight out of the box, straight onto the stand and onto the turntable, no poses, no accessories, just as he comes, straight out of the box. And let's take a closer look at this guy. First-hand impressions. Well, before we jump in, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everybody who has liked, commented, subscribed to the channel, everybody who supported the channel. Just a massive shout out and thank you to everyone. It's those subscriptions that keep us going. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the content that's coming up. Yeah, so thank you to everybody. Yeah, so the figure itself, first-hand impressions, it's got some heft to it. It's got some weight to it, and the look is definitely screen accurate. That head sculpt struck me straight away as being very good. But let's have a closer look. Let's do as we always do. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Let's stop this turntable spinning so we can get a closer look at him. Yeah, so let's bring him a little bit closer into camera, and I'm going to drop this. I'm just going to drop the camera, panning up instead of down. Let's just drop the camera a little bit. Before we start as well, just a quick comment about this this stand. The actual, this waist grabber that the figure came with, yeah, I'm not 100% comfortable with this, so I've replaced it with a standard issue crotch grabber rather than a waist grabber. The reason for that is when you actually attach this, because of the size of this thing, a lot of the time it's going to be gripping around this waistcoat that he's wearing, which is made out of pleather, and I'm not comfortable with doing that, with taking it on and off the stand, because this isn't the thickest pleather in the world and it really feels like I could damage it. So yeah, not sure why they didn't go with the standard issue crotch grabber. Maybe it's because of these pants and how they fall, and it interferes with the fall of the pants. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm opting for the crotch grabber on this one. But that's personal taste. So yeah, let's start with the feet. One completely plastic sculpted boot here, no split cut boot design. The laces are all sculpted. There's a little bit of weathering on here, but I've got a feeling, as I mentioned before, that this is going to be a weathering job. Now, on the top of these are pegged straight into the legs, and on the top of this, the boots themselves, and running pretty much all the way up are these bindings, all the way up to above the knee, actually. I'm going to see how far these go up. This is the first time I've seen this figure, so bear with me. Yeah, these bindings actually go all the way up to his thighs. And it's sort of a nylon material. It looks like it's been dirtied up a bit. There's some greens in there, there's some browns. It looks like there's been some dry brushing to give it that weathering, and it's actually attached by what looks like a green string. Let's just bring that round so we can see that from the back. Yeah, and there are these green string bindings holding it on. It doesn't look like they're tied in a knot. It just looks like they've been wrapped around. But yeah, so that's the bindings on the legs. These pants themselves, they feel like a cotton. They're quite thin. So I would exercise caution here, but the colouring's nice, and screen accurate. The cut looks screen accurate to me. There's no padding on here, so I would say proportionally they've got Jason Momoa really, really well here. And as I say, it's got some heft to it, this figure. It's not a light figure. I'm assuming that's down to the body type and the plastic that's been used here. It's a very, very hard plastic. So around the waist section itself, we've got this what looks like a pleather ties, 2 or 3 of them around the top here. Let's bring it round so we can take a look at the back here. He seems to be leaning forward. That's an issue, I suppose, with the crotch grabber. But yeah, the stitching on these pants is nice. As I say, that sort of 3/4 pedal pusher look is screen accurate. We've got some fraying on the bottom there. The stitching is nice. Yeah, just overall very good and very screen accurate. Moving up, we've got this pleather waistcoat. Once again, very screen accurate. And this pleather is quite thin, so I would say exercise caution here. It's not the thickest pleather I've come across. Probably will need treating after I've weathered it. But we've got plastic buckles on here. These straps look real. I'm not sure whether they're functioning straps. I'd have to get a little bit closer. Not that you'd need to do them up or undo them, I don't think. But the detailing here is nice, with the straps coming underneath and over the actual tunic itself, the actual vest itself, and then tying at the top here. Yeah, 2 pieces that this vest comes in, and they are attached at the sides and at the top there once again, which is screen accurate. I'll bring him back round again. Let's have a look at these arms here. These have got the arms have got the same bindings that the hands have. These are the other pair of hands that we didn't look at when we were looking at the accessories. And the way it's been done is that they continue nicely to give that full sort of strapped gauntlet effect. And on the top there, well, I'm assuming these are they're stuck down, and on the top there, once again, I don't think these are sculpted plastic. I think these are actually straps with plastic hoops that have been stuck down to the actual straps themselves. Let's see if that's continued on the other side. No, there's no hoops or straps here. These are simply tied down. Yeah, I think they're maybe glued as well. I'm not sure. I don't think these will come off. Not that you'd want to remove them, I don't think. But yeah. The body itself, I believe, has 30 points of articulation. It's a solid plastic, so it's that sturdy plastic. There's no, it's not seamless at all. It's jointed, as you can see. The range of motion is pretty good. That's what we come to expect from this kind of body. Yeah, shoulders are pretty good. I'd probably be a little bit cautious, actually. Exercise some caution in these elbows, simply because of these straps. When posing it, particularly on this left arm, because you're going to put pressure on these bindings. But yeah, and these are very, very stiff, as I remember from my Dread figure. I believe I've got 2 art figures. I've also got the Riddick figure as well, and I think they've used a similar type of body. And these joints are exceptionally stiff. They really, really are. But yeah, then you need to be careful with these. They do snap into place, but yeah, exercise maybe some caution when posing this, I think. So yeah, that's the outfit and the articulation. Yeah, the knees bend a lot more easily than the elbows. Let's put it that way. And there's movement there in the in the waist area too. So yeah, articulation's okay, if not perfect. Outfit very good. Let's take a look at this head sculpt. Let's actually, what I'm going to do is, let's see if we can't. I'm going to raise this camera a little bit. Excuse the wobbling, and we're going to bring this in. Obviously, we'll get a closer look at this head sculpt when we get him into the detail. But yeah, just the one head sculpt with this figure. It's pegged on. Let's have a look at the range of movement. Pretty good. Yeah, not bad at all. And the head sculpt itself, I'm impressed. I am. That most certainly captures a likeness of Jason Momoa there. The skin tones on the body match the head sculpt, which are pretty screen accurate, I think. When I first looked at it, I thought, shouldn't he be ever so slightly darker? But no, now I'm seeing it under these lights. That looks pretty spot on to me for the skin tone. The paintwork on the beard is very, very good. You can see the individual strands. Let's just turn him around a little bit. You can actually see the strands of the beard down there as it becomes fuller down his face. Very nice. The paintwork on the face is very good. Those darker areas under the eyes. The eyebrows are very, very nice. We've got scarring here. There's 2 small scars on this side of his face. Let's bring him round this side. Now there's more scars here. We've got several above the eye here, and then the scar that goes through the eyebrow, and then markings on the side of the face. This is all screen accurate. So I was a little bit concerned actually when I first got it out that it didn't have those scars, but it didn't have the best light in the world. So yeah, props to Art Figures there for including those scars. The hair is very, very accurate and very, very well done. It's pulled back in the man bun. You can see the individual strands in there. Yeah. Very, very good. I was going to say there's eyes and glassy, but if you've seen the TV show, you know, but because of the illness, he had the very, very milky eyes, and it looks like they've actually replicated that effect in both eyes. I'm not sure whether the camera is actually picking that up in this slide. I'll just twist it a little bit, see if it picks it up better. But yeah, they've even replicated the milkiness in the eyes themselves. So yeah, paintwork very good, sculpt very, very good. Yeah, overall I am pretty impressed. So that is your Art Figures Baba Voss. So what we're going to do next is what we always do. Is we'll get him into a pose, we'll add some of the accessories, we'll get him over into the detail and take a look at how this guy displays, and then we'll wrap the whole thing up with a little bit of a showcase of this figure, maybe getting into 2 or 3 different poses with some different accessories. So without further ado, it's over to the detail. Okay, so here we are over at the detail with Baba Voss himself. We've got him on the Thanos Endgame Battle Damage Thanos Endgame stand, the one that one of my go-to stands. I was going to use the normal stand, the stand that was provided with the figure, but I decided to go with this one to see how he looks freestanding, and therein lies one of the issues with this figure that we will get to shortly. But let's just take a quick up close and personal with him. We may have to pass on the showcase section of this video because of some of the issues that came up with this figure while I was getting him into this pose. But before we get into those, let's take a look at the figure itself. The outfit is very good, very screen accurate. The materials are nice. The work on the outfit itself is very, very good. These weapons are excellent. In particular, this long cleaver. But yeah, let's take a look at that head sculpt. Get closer with it. Now, is it 100% spot on? No. Under these lights, no. There is something slightly off about this head sculpt. It is good. Don't get me wrong. It is good, but is it 100%? No. There is something. I think I heard another reviewer talking about this figure and saying it looks great from the right-hand side, but from the left-hand side, something is off. And I think I'm seeing what he's meaning here. Maybe it's the eyes. I'm not 100% certain. But the paintwork is excellent. The sculpt is definitely Jason Momoa, but is it 100% accurate? No. The paintwork on the beard is great. The reflects of white in there, a little bit of grey. The individual strands are picked out. The paintwork is phenomenal on the head sculpt itself. It's just the sculpt maybe something missing there for me. But yeah, overall, I think it really does capture the likeness of Jason Momoa in C. That outfit is very, very accurate. But yeah, let's get to the niggles, shall we say? And these are more sort of minor QC. Well, not minor in some cases. Let's start with these feet. First of all, I think you probably noticed when we were down on the table there, the bindings on the right foot there weren't tied on properly, and are an absolute nightmare to get on. They're not on properly yet. I've sort of bodged it for the purposes of this review, but I'll need to go back and actually work with those bindings to get them to tie properly. They were undone when it came out of the box. And therein lies another issue with this figure, is the feet. Now, I didn't notice this until I tried posing it freestanding, that those feet don't appear to be attached to anything. And now I don't know whether this is whether it's the boots are loose on the outside of the feet, or whether there is actually no peg. I've not been brave enough to try and take the feet off, but they are both exceptionally loose, which makes this freestanding posing very, very difficult, which is, as I say, why we're probably going to have to pass on the showcase at this point, because I think this figure's going to need some work. And there were a couple of other issues as well. That tusk stroke antler necklace, once again, the bindings on the back of that hadn't been done correctly, so I need to do some work on that. That as well has been, shall we say, fudged for the purposes of this review, but it needs reattaching properly so it stays around his neck. Another issue as well is this gauntlet, this antler gauntlet on the right arm. I think it looks fantastic, but there's an issue getting it on over those bindings. I would imagine it restricts posing, and also the amount of force you have to use. I think you have to be careful not to damage those bindings. Also, as well, the quality of the hand pegs not so good. Took the first hand off, and that one broke straight away. Thank goodness there were two spares. So that's the issues. Overall, I do like it, but it's going to be a real nightmare to pose. I'm going to have to do some work with it, which is not what you want to be doing, really, on a figure straight out of the box at this price point. And I know it's not the most expensive figure in the world, but you don't want to have to be fixing feet and fixing bindings and fixing necklaces, not with a brand new figure. But that's the complaints out of the way. Overall, I do like it. I think as a representation, as I say, of Jason Momoa in C, I think they've done a very, very good job. But it's not without its flaws, and it needs some work. So as I say, unfortunately, we will have to pass on the showcase, at least for this video, once I've done the fixes on this figure, and maybe done a little bit of weathering as well. We'll come back to it and do a proper showcase. But as it stands at the moment, it's registering on the Go Figure scale of about 7. It would have been higher, maybe 6.5, 7. It would have been a lot higher had it not been for those QC issues. So if there's anybody out there who's got this figure or is getting this figure, let me know. Are you experiencing the similar issues? I'd be interested to find out. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because those QC issues have knocked down the score quite substantially. The accessories are nice. The work on the outfit is very, very good, but it's just let down by a few niggly issues. So I shall await to work on this figure. So I suppose all it remains for me to say is thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Please hit that like button. Put a comment in the comment section below. What do you think of this figure? Hit that bell notification icon. We have got loads more content coming up in the not too distant future. We've got XO6, Admiral Picard, that's coming up. We've got the 3-0 Optimus Prime, that's coming up soon. Mars Toys, Mr. J, the Blitzway and Prime 1 Studios quarter scale Ellen Ripley statue. All this is coming up, and plenty more as well. And a lot of retro reviews too. So, yeah, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And all it remains for me to say is thank you for watching. From me, from Jason MOMOA, as Baba Voss. Look after yourselves and happy collecting.